2023 Hyundai Sonata Hybrid, courtesy of Jack Giambalvo Hyundai in York, PA. For more information on their inventory, please feel free to check out the link in the description box below. And so, if you have a long commute to work, this may very well be a very good option for you. Let me just start by saying that not only that, there's actually a lot on the hybrid that the traditional Sonata doesn't get. Like, for example, I looked back, there's rear window sunshades back there. We do have the top trim level, and we'll get into the trims in a second here, but you don't get rear window sunshades on the regular Sonata. Not only that, the hybrid version of the Sonata is actually built in Korea, whereas the traditional Sonata, if you look at the VINs for every single one of them, it says 5, which means it's built in the US. So that is another differentiation between the two. But anyways, you also get America's Best warranty, 5 years, 60,000 mile bumper to bumper, 10 years, 100,000 miles on the powertrain, get 3 years of complimentary maintenance. So ultimately in this video, we will be testing out and going over everything about this one, from acceleration to braking, steering feel, ride quality, sound system, exhaust clip, all that fun stuff. So having said all of that, what do you guys say? Let's just go ahead and jump right into it. And as always, let's start with pricing. And so, as you can imagine, there are a few different trim levels for the Sonata Hybrid. First one being blue, starting at $27,950, which is a kind of average $900 increase from the 2022 model year. SEL for $31,300, and lastly, the limited being the one we have today, starting at $36,250. But regardless of trim level that you go with, the power plant on the Sonata Hybrid is going to be the same. Powering the beast is a 2-liter Atkinson cycle inline 4-cylinder paired with an electric motor with a lithium-ion battery pack. So 192 horsepower at 6,000 RPM combined, 151 pound-feet of torque, 0 to 60 approximately 8.1 seconds. Power sent to the front wheels through a 6-speed automatic with paddle shifters, which of course we will be testing out here in a little bit. MPGs are going to differ slightly amongst the trim levels. For the blue trim, you're going to get 50 in the city, 54 on the highway, so you're going to get the most with that one. But for the other two trims, 45 in the city, 51 on the highway, taking regular unleaded fuel with a max range, Hyundai says, of 686 miles. That is dang impressive. Now, I will say, the regular Sonata still gives you a little over 500, so even that's impressive, but 686, that's a lot. Right now it's showing 573 that we have left, so that's pretty darn good too. But anyways, before we do any kind of fun acceleration here in our 2023 Sonata Hybrid, I wanted to mention to you guys the drive modes. There's actually a little toggle switch located just to the left of the cup holders that will include custom, sport, eco, and smart, adjusting things like the shift points, the throttle response, and the steering sensitivity. What I personally like is that custom driving mode will allow you to kind of tailor the steering feel to be a bit heavier, but not necessarily give you all of that instant acceleration all the time, because you might not necessarily want that if you're going for MPGs in this thing. So that's what I personally love the most. But anyways, now having got all of that out of the way, what do you guys say? Let's go ahead and find a straightaway. Let's put the acceleration and paddle shifters here to the test, and let's start by seeing how quickly these paddle shifters are going to react for us here. All right, second gear, we're going to start from here. Go. Oh. All right, couple things. There is a massive delay with the paddle shifters, I'm just gonna be honest, so I wouldn't even use it. But actually, one thing I would use it for, we're going down a massive hill right now. You can actually just hit the downshift, do a little bit of engine braking, so it's gonna slow you down without actually you having to hit the brakes, and that's gonna kind of help you when it's snowing out, so less likely to slide off the hill for that. So that is definitely nice that they're there for that reason. Not only that, paddle shifters are pretty high quality as well. They're not that boring matte black or matte gray that you typically find with most other manufacturers out there. They're actually finished in a nice smooth silver finish here, so I do like them for that. But having said that, paddle shifters are definitely not the quickest things out there right now, so did want to mention that. But anyways, since we have got that out of the way, what do you guys say? Let's go ahead and find one more straightaway here. Let's put the acceleration to the test, and let's see how quickly we can get this one here up to speed. All right, here we go. A little bit of a rolling start, but off we go. Not bad. As far as that instant acceleration goes, not bad. Now, it isn't the quickest thing in the world at higher speeds, but at lower speeds, now I'm used to a 1.6 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder in the regular Sonata, and there's a slight bit of turbo lag when you first hit that, but there wasn't any turbo lag in this because it's not turbocharged. It's a naturally aspirated Atkinson cycle 4-cylinder with a hybrid setup, so there's no turbo lag whatsoever, obviously. So I actually don't mind that initial punch, but again, not the quickest thing in the world. But anyways, to go along with that acceleration, as always, braking is equally important. So of course you will find power assisted 4-wheel disc brakes with regenerative braking as well for the hybrid, so that is pretty cool. As far as braking feel goes, It's okay. Typically hybrids and electric vehicles as well, you do get a little bit of a different braking feel. I'm not saying it's bad, it's just different. It's probably going to take a little bit to get used to, but having said that, it's not bad. It definitely brings you to a nice stop. So personally for me, I'm not going to have any issues there. But then touching on suspension and handling, up front you're going to get a McPherson strut front suspension. In the back, independent multi-link rear suspension. As far as ride quality goes, it's been perfectly fine in my short little test drive here today, so I personally have had no issues with that. As far as steering feel goes, that is ridiculously adjustable. I'll just put it that way. I still got it in sport driving mode. It's a very nicely weighted steering feel, definitely on the heavier side of things. But having said that, if you take it out of that sport driving mode and put it into eco, it is going to loosen up pretty substantially to a very loosey-goosey steering feel. So you can adjust that. Like I said, there is that custom mode as well for kind of the best of both worlds. So you can really tailor it to your own liking there. So I'm a huge fan of that. As far as cabin noise goes, honestly, I have been going 50 miles per hour a little while back there, and it's not that bad. I remember in the past, Sonata's having a decent amount of wind noise coming in through the driver's side window usually, but for this one, it hasn't been that bad. So I personally haven't had any issues there. And that may be due in part because you get an acoustic laminated front windshield for all trim levels. But not only that, for the SEL Unlimited, you actually get acoustic laminated front side glass, which you don't usually get standard. So that is a huge benefit to the very serene cabin that we have in this Sonata Hybrid Limited trim level that we have today. So cabin noise is actually 100% on point. Touching on visibility, it's excellent. I can see perfectly fine out the back. Not only that, you get rain sensing windshield wipers for all trim levels across the board, so that is definitely a big win there. Essentially what that is whenever the vehicle detects any kind of mist or rainfall, it's going to automatically turn on those windshield wipers for you, kind of like automatic headlights. Just one less thing you got to worry about there. And for the Limited that we have today, I am also looking at a head-up display, which is projecting my speed limit, and safety features up onto my windshield, so that is definitely going to assist with forward visibility there as well. But that pretty much rounds out the performance segment of this review, guys. Let's go ahead and take a look at the exterior of our brand new 2023 Hyundai Sonata Hybrid. All right, you guys, so here she is, the new 2023 Hyundai Sonata Hybrid, finished in Serenity White, which actually is a $400 paint option in case you were curious. So that is what you guys are looking at right now. But as always, let's go ahead and start up front because there actually is a unique front fascia for the hybrid variant of this particular Sonata. So I did want to mention that, including that chrome bar kind of going across the lower portion of that front bumper there. That is going to be unique again to the hybrid. You got chrome horizontal bars on the front grille then, also a little bit unique to the hybrid as well. To the sides though, LED headlights do come standard across the board. They come with the automatic feature as well, meaning when it starts to get dark at night, headlights will turn on automatically for you there. But my favorite part is the LED daytime running lights. I'm going to get up a little bit closer here to show you guys. Although the lights are off right now, I'll try to get a shot for you. But essentially, the LED daytime running lights kind of go on the bottom portion of those front headlights, and then they continue up on the hood until you get to this little crease right here, because they slowly fade out onto the hood. It's like no other vehicle on the road, so I am a huge fan of the design to those LED daytime running lights for that particular reason. But another big benefit here, automatic high beams coming standard for all trim levels across the board. And in case you didn't notice on those headlights, they are actually projector style, since we do have the Limited trim level with us here today. So all the other Sonatas typically will be reflector style LEDs, whereas these are projector style. So little added illumination there at night, and you do have some front air curtains then to the sides, kind of directing the air around the wheel and tire combination as well. So overall, definitely a fan personally of the front end of this one. Let me know what you think of it in the comment section below. But now let's go ahead and make our way to the side of the Sonata Hybrid. All right, so but now since we are around to the side of this one, chrome window surrounds will come standard. Matte black window trim will come standard as well. And I wanted to mention that because some of the other Sonatas do get the gloss black window trim as opposed to the matte black window trim that even our Limited trim level has with us here today. Body color door handles coming with the blue, but you do get some satin chrome accents for the SEL and Limited trim levels on the upper portion of those door handles. Body color power adjustable side mirrors will come standard with LED integrated turn signals as well, and side mirrors are actually going to be heated then for the SEL and Limited trim levels. Then take a look down at the wheel setup, 16-inch alloys for the blue, 17-inch multi-spoke aluminum alloys then for the SEL and Limited, and they're kind of like an aerodynamically designed wheel, so it definitely looks good down there. Very unique to the hybrid as opposed to the traditional Sonata trim levels, but pretty much rounds out the side profile here. Let's now go ahead and make our way to the back. So but now, since you are around to the back of this one, gloss black shark fin antenna found all the way to the top. Just below that you will find LED taillights coming standard across the board. Gotta love that. You have the Sonata lettering spelled out horizontally on that rear trunk there. That is pretty cool. You got the hybrid badging as well, found on the right hand side of the trunk, so that kind of lets you know this is the hybrid that you're looking at here. LED license plate lighting though also coming standard. Not a huge deal, but I always like to mention it though. And of course you do get a hybrid specific rear bumper. There's a little bit of a gloss black rear diffuser there in the middle, but essentially there is a single exhaust outlet tucked away kind of on the right hand side, and I'm going to give this a shot, but having said that, it might not work. It doesn't always work with hybrids as far as the exhaust clip here, so I think you guys know what we have to do next. Let's go ahead and give this a shot. As always, here is that exhaust clip. All right, so but now since we are around to the back of this one, when it comes to opening that rear trunk, there are several different ways to go ahead and do that. One of them is there is a button on the key fob, of course. There's also a button by the driver's side left knee, but my favorite way about opening the trunk, there's actually a hidden button on the trunk itself on the upper portion of the Hyundai logo. If you press in on that, it's actually going to open up for you. That's kind of the James Bond 007 way to open it. But anyways, once opened up, cargo capacity comes in at an even 16 cubic feet, which is very respectable actually. If that was not enough space, there is a 60-40 split, meaning the rear seats do fold down for quite a bit of extra space then if you needed it. There is some cargo lighting back there, and then if you were to lift up underneath of that cargo floor, you're actually not going to find a spare tire where you usually find that with the regular Sonata, but you will find a tire inflator kit. So did want to mention that there is some in-floor storage for maybe an ice scraper or some other things as well. So, but then making our way up to the rear legroom, that is going to come in at 34.8 inches. For reference, I'm an even 6 feet tall. This is how much space I have back there. Rear ventilation does come standard for all trim levels across the board. There is one USB charging port back there for all trim levels as well. Big fan of that. And there is a rear center armrest with cup holders then coming with the Limited. But again, one thing I didn't expect to see here on our Limited trim level is there are rear window sunshades that you don't get on the regular Sonata. So that is pretty cool. I'm a big fan of that. So if you have small kids that maybe you don't want the sun in their eyes or whatever when you're going on a drive or when you're sitting in a parking lot, whatever the case, that's pretty cool. I like that. But then making our way up to the front seat, 6-way manually adjustable driver's seat with the blue, 8-way power driver's seat then for the SEL and Limited trim levels, and that comes with 4-way power lumbar as well. Cloth seating coming with the blue and SEL trims, then leather seating coming with our Limited that we have today. Heated front seats for the SEL and Limited, ventilated front seats for the Limited, memory settings for the Limited as well, and that's for up to 2 different drivers found in the driver's side door there. Overall, seating was actually pretty darn comfortable. I had no issues. It is leather seating. It's plenty adjustable. You got the lumbar adjustment, so definitely didn't have any issues there. Then take a look at the steering wheel. It is tilt and telescoping. It will be leather wrapped for the SEL and Limited trims, and then heated actually for the Limited trim level as well. And that heated steering wheel button's located kind of where all the climate control buttons are, so I did want to mention that. And the 10-2 grips, they're kind of on the thicker side of things, at least thicker than the non-leather wrap steering wheel, I'll put it that way. So I was actually a big fan of that. But now let's go ahead and make our way to the startup. Let me start by showing you guys the key here. You got your Hyundai logo on the one side, then when you flip it over, lock, unlock, that circular button that says hold, that's going to be your remote start. There is also a Hyundai digital key which comes with the SEL or Limited. Essentially, you just download the Hyundai app on your phone, you put your phone up to the door handle, it's going to lock and unlock that way. And then you put your phone on the wireless charging pad, and that is how you're going to be able to start the vehicle up if you didn't want to carry your keys around. So I've actually done that before. It's pretty darn convenient. But the best part is Hyundai Smart Pack, which is going to be the P buttons. So if you're in a tight parking space, you can actually push that once you use the remote start, and it's going to pull you out, or it can back you in as well, or back you out for that matter. So that is a pretty cool feature and something that you'll probably play around more than you think you will with. So anyways, it is all keyless entry with a push button start. So all I'm going to do here is simply put my foot on the brake and press that silver engine start button located just by the driver's right knee. And so gauges are pretty darn impressive here on our Limited. I put it that way because you will get analog gauges for for the Blue and SEL trims, but you will get a 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster with the limited trim that we have today. And again, it is completely customizable, especially dependent upon the drive mode. If you put it in Sport, it's going to kind of do this explosion and then give you a bunch of red and black hues. If you put it in Eco, you're going to have a bunch of blue hues, and if you put it in Smart, it's going to be kind of like a neutral black and white kind of setup. So bunch of different loadouts for the gauges, so I'm an absolute huge fan of that. And it gives you everything like outside temperature, how many miles you have left until you hit empty, and so on, all the basics basically. But then make our way to overall interior quality. Now, this is going to be the big change for 2023, at least regarding the Sonata Hybrid here, is there's no more solar roof available for the Sonata Hybrid. They used to have that in 2022 and before, but now that is going to be replaced with a panoramic sunroof coming standard here for the Limited. It's kind of a dual pane, so the rear passengers kind of have their own as well. So it is pretty cool looking. Wireless phone charger coming standard with the SEL Unlimited. You do get an auto-dimming rear view mirror with home light controls for the limited trim level, and that's for up to 3 different garage doors. Dual zone climate control coming standard across the board. Leatherette wrapped dashboard for the limited trim level, so that is pretty cool. I like that, and it has some contrast stitching there. LED interior lighting coming with the limited. You'll also get 64 colors of LED ambient lighting for the limited as well, and so that can be adjusted, of course, through the infotainment screen, and I'll show you guys how to do that here in a second when we get to that. But overall, interior quality is 100% perfectly fine. A lot of times it's going to be a lot of matte gray and black finishes, so there is none of that. Kind of have this cool design right around the cup holders. You have some gloss black finishes right around the shift buttons. And by the way, there are shift buttons. I didn't mention that yet, so it's not like a traditional shifter. You push the D in for drive, the P for park, R for reverse, N for neutral, and so on. So just in front of that, you got a 12-volt power outlet, couple USB charging ports, and the wireless phone charger, of course. And within the center armrest, there is a decent amount of storage within there as well. But so then making our way to the infotainment screen, 8-inch color touchscreen display will come with the Blue and SEL trims. However, if you go with the Limited, you're going to get a 10.25-inch color touchscreen display. So that is what, of course, you guys are looking at right now. I love it. It's such a massive screen. Bluetooth and audio streaming, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, of course, factory navigation system coming with the Limited. That is pretty darn cool as well. Climate control information you can check out up there. There is a voice memo system, which essentially allows you to record your voice and then play it back at a later date. That is pretty cool. And of course, specific to the hybrid, there is actually a hybrid icon, which kind of gives you your energy flow and your average miles per gallon and your electric motor use at any given time. So that is a fun little thing to play around with as well. And of course, you can adjust your radio information up there as well. And so when it comes to the sound systems on the Sonata Hybrid, you will get 6 speakers coming with the Blue. But if you were to go with that SL or Limited, you're going to get a 12-speaker Bose sound system. So, having said that, I think let's go ahead and turn on the radio here, see what we got playing today, and let's test out the clarity of this one. It's insane. It is literally insane. That bass was rumbling the entire vehicle, probably was rumbling my camera. That was an amazing sound system for the Sonata Hybrid, without a doubt. And I've had both sound systems in my cars. They've never failed me before. So that is an amazing sound system for the Sonata Hybrid. But last thing I want to mention to you guys on the infotainment screen is when you do put this thing in reverse, you will find a rear view camera coming standard across the board for all trim levels. And you will also get a 360-degree monitor for our limited trim level that we have here today, giving you that bird's eye view, which is always is going to lead us into safety. And so to start, the Sonata is an IIHS top safety pick, so that's a good start right there. Front side curtain airbags do come standard, driver's knee airbag as well. In the back, you're going to have latch, aka lower anchors and tethers for children for the rear car seats, rear child door locks, tire pressure monitoring system, but also coming standard is a good bit, including forward collision avoidance assist with pedestrian detection, lane keep assist, lane following assist, driver attention warning system, and adaptive cruise control with stop and go, which is an amazing system with any Hyundai, Kia, or Genesis. It keeps you centered in the lane. It really does stop to a complete stop and then go when the vehicle starts moving in front of you. It's insane. Rear occupant alert, safe exit warning, and a blind spot monitoring system with rear cross traffic alert. But I will say, the limited trim is going to add some to that as well, including a blind spot view monitor. So when you put on your turn signals, it's going to show you what is in your blind spot up on the digital gauges up front. So that is a pretty cool feature as well. You also get front and rear parking sensors with the limited, highway driving assist, which is Hyundai's level 2 autonomous driving system, and rear parking collision avoidance assist as well. So overall, when it comes to my final thoughts here of the Sonata Hybrid, great exterior styling. I've always been a fan of the styling of the Sonata. 50 plus mpgs is dang impressive. So like I said at the beginning of the video, if you got a long commute, this is definitely a solid pick for that, because you get America's Best warranty with that as well, and 3 years of complimentary maintenance. You got a max range of 686 miles. This thing will take you a good bit before you have to refill again, so that is pretty cool. You get 64 colors of ambient lighting. I'm always a huge fan of that. Digital gauges. The only thing is, like I said, the braking feels a little bit wonky. Like, it might just be something I'm not used to, but you typically do find this, like I said earlier, with hybrids and electric vehicles. So not a huge fan of the braking, but everything else I'm a massive fan of. So let me know what you guys think of the Sonata Hybrid in the comments section below, and